Hello, everybody. I just wanted to take a quick second to get settled, but I'm so glad you are here. I cannot believe this is happening, but I'm very excited that this is now a thing. So here's a little bit of background about what I'm doing and why. So I know there are lots of you that are looking for more opportunities to grow, to learn, to to get all the things, but don't have the time. So I was trying to find ways to have bite-sized pieces of information shared with you. And I feel like lives are the best way to do that. So I'm going to set up a monthly live on the first Wednesday of every month. So I know this is kind of like not really the first Monday, it's the last Monday, but this is kind of a trial run so that I can kind of see how this works. So if you are on my Facebook group, you can find them, any of my lives there. If you are on my YouTube channel, you can find my lives there. And then it's also connecting to Instagram. So I'm so excited to be able to come through three different platforms at once. So hopefully this works for you and you can see me pretty well. So let me know if you can see me and if things are working. But we're here to chat all about AAC. So it can be really tricky as a new teacher or even a veteran teacher to learn AAC and then bring it into your classroom instruction. So that's the most difficult part, right? So I feel like I've been getting a lot of questions lately, and thank you for any of you that filled out the feedback survey that I had about what you're really looking for. Because AAC in instruction was a big one that kept coming up. That everybody's just like, I just don't know how to bring AAC into those opportunities for learning and bring it into instruction. So, first and foremost, you really need to get to know the student devices. Super important. You can really learn more about where things are, how to navigate to stuff, how the student is accessing the device as well, where their level of learning is. So I would say pair with your SLP and really kind of get on the same team of what is the goal or what are they working for, or you can really know what your SLP's goals are for that student as well. And so when you pair with your SLP and say like, hey, we're working on 2-word phrases, right? Now you can start bringing in 2-word phrases into your lesson. So that's kind of a good way to get started, get your feet wet, pair with your SLP, sit down, learn the device if you can, get to know the AAC systems as best you can, because that's a quick way to bring it in to your lessons, is knowing the devices, right? So if you don't know the devices, start there. The next thing I would say is when you're bringing AAC into the classroom for instruction, something I've always used to do was really figure out what is the topic and what are we trying to get to. Do I want them to comment on something? Do I need them to say, wow, that's cool, or oh, I like that? Then bringing that into the conversation, for sure. That's great. I think that's really awesome. Like when you're reading a story of like, oh, they went on a treasure hunt. What do you think about the treasure hunt? Oh, I like that, or I don't like that. It's a really easy way to bring that in as you're like doing a story. I actually have a story here as well that I'm going to kind of go through and show you what it looks like. And I can talk about math, but of course, if you are on my live, you are welcome to leave any comments and I will get back to you probably pretty much live if I can. If not, I will comment afterwards so you get your answer of how to use AAC in instruction. So if you have any questions about that, of course, feel free to comment. That's what I'm here for. So you all may have recognized some of these. I don't have the actual systems with me in my house for winter break, but I did print these off. The PRC's Saltillo, I can never say it. But this website has free printables, which is great. So if you're looking for just a one-sheeter, I even have word power here. So those look pretty common probably for most of you. I know LAMP is another big one that a lot of people use. So anyways, so going back, I'm getting ahead of myself. So if I want them to comment, I know we have to go into social. If I want to talk about a specific place, then I'm going to go to places. I want them to talk about people, we're going to go to people. And so kind of pick a theme or a topic, maybe 1 or 2 different areas in the device, so that you are kind of bouncing a little bit in between, but not a whole lot of like unnavigating. So the first time I will go in and say, um, you know, whatever. The story is, oh, how do they feel? They feel whatever. And bringing that language into it with them. Maybe I'm walking around with my own core word thing. Maybe I'm using another student's device and going, oh, they feel this way, or oh, they're gonna go eating dinner, and kind of modeling that language for them is a really good way. And then after I've modeled a couple times, I'm gonna have a paraprofessional model, and then I'm gonna let them kind of ease into doing it themselves. Great, what are they eating? Oh, they're eating this. Great, with the hungry caterpillar, what did he eat? Oh, eat an apple. Oh, eat a pear, right? You can pair those words and phrases together, or just have them say eat, 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 right? It's that repetition and understanding on their device, like, oh, they're eating, right? So they bring it back and back and back. So I said, pick maybe one or two different types of themes. There was a lesson I did the other day for a class where they were talking about, snow. So the words that I had them isolate was snow and cold, because that was what the story was. And so each of our device, we would go to the weather and it would go cold, or we'd go snow. Or they do both, right? Because those can kind of be used interchangeably. I'm like, oh, what do you see in this picture? Oh, it's snow. Oh, it does look cold. And then I can bring in their language and make meaning for their language as well. Especially students that are not as familiar with using their own voice in their devices, bringing meaning to what they're saying, even if it's not right. That you might say windy, because they're on that page. Oh, you're right. It could be windy here. Like, I see where you're getting that. They might say sunny. Great. The sun is out in this picture. Or maybe it's not windy or not sunny. Maybe it's cloudy. And I model that, like, oh, I don't see the sun in this one, but I see the clouds. And kind of like correcting that language in that moment. Or like making it up and saying like, oh, you're right. I do wish it was sunny outside. Right. That kind of thing. And that language just kind of brings it to it. So again, finding those one or two words that you really want to focus on, maybe even more than that, depending on where your students are at. But that's really kind of how I do that. Before I go into modeling a lesson, because I'm going to make this kind of short, but I do want to model like a lesson. But this is a book that I found of I Talk in Different Ways. It is phenomenal. If you are looking for something for your classroom, just to kind of start bringing in language. So it talks about what is AAC, which is really fun. And then how we can all talk in different ways. Maybe while you're reading this, if you want your students to say talk, they can say talk, which I also think could be fun. I tell stories, I share ideas, I use my AAC. I can say hi to a friend, right? You can all practice saying hi. Really cool. I can ask questions. I can send emails to my friends. So there's different ways that we can use AAC, and talks about how your AAC could look a little different. Some people have like a book. Some people have a device, that kind of thing. So I think this one's really fun. And it is pretty short. And then, yeah, how we just all talk in different ways. Super fun. So yeah, highly recommend. Great book. Okay. But if I was going to go through here, I have not picked up this book in a very long time. So we're going to see. Okay. Great. Okay, so if I'm picking up this book for the first time and I have not really read it and I'm just going to teach it on the fly, I might say like, oh, what colors do you see? And have students say what colors they see. We're going to say how to catch a unicorn. Maybe I'll have them find the word catch or get, something like that, because sometimes the words aren't in our devices and we have to really kind of model that for them. I'm going to move over so you can see the book. Great. So on this bright and shiny morning, I want to do something fun. I want something fun to do. So I'm riding on a rainbow and I'm heading to the zoo. Whoa, they're riding on a rainbow. Let's find the word rainbow, right? Something that brings it into what's going on. We're all going to practice in modeling finding rainbow. Or I might have them do fun, or I might have them do zoo. Depends what the focus is. If I want them to talk about places, that's what I'll do. I'll do zoo. Okay, now where are we going in the zoo, right? But again, try not to bounce around too much. If I've already talked about colors on the front, I'm going to go continue with colors. We're going to go rainbow. So then with the next one, great. The kids think they've spotted me. I thought I'd blend in here. I cannot let them catch me or my magic will disappear. Is that a unicorn? I think they can fly. I believe they fart glitter. I heard they can shrink. Let's catch it. So there's that catch again. I might say, get the unicorn, get it. Same thing with up here, it's catch. So catch might be a really good one to use for a book like this. Again, just kind of looking through and seeing what keeps popping up. Luckily, my animal friends from the zebra to the ape are all on board to help me. They will make sure I escape. So I might say, help. We're trying to help the unicorn. So if I'm going to stay with those action words, right, it'd be the actions and the colors. As I'm kind of going through this book, I'm seeing like, oh, we can talk about the colors. We can talk about get. So get is an action word. Help is also an action word. It's those green words on our device. So again, if I was up here trying to read it, I would say, oh, we're going to get, and we're going to help, those types of things, right? Modeling that language. All right, let's see what the next one looks like. First, I see my stripy cousins, but then I have to fly. As much as I like lemonade, I have to say goodbye. Oh, look, he saw, right? Then I'm going to saw his cousins, but then he has to say goodbye, right? Which right here is see and look, and then he has to say goodbye. So if you're looking for an idea there, right, again, those action words are usually right on that main page, super helpful to bring it into, and so on and so forth. I will do one more page, and then I will take any questions that have come up. If not, that is totally fine too. I dived a plastic parachute being launched from down below. I do a spin and leave a trail of glitter as I go. Right? I might say he's going, or I might go actually into my action words and say spin, right? That might give another definition or thought for it. Or maybe under colors, there might be glitter. I don't know, kind of thing. And to bring it into it, so we bring that interaction and interactivity as I'm reading the book. There are other strategies that you could be doing as well. And I will go over more reading strategies and things like that. But I did want to keep this under 15 minutes or so. And I see we're getting closer to that time, but I want to make sure if there was any questions that I could answer those live. For math instruction, I would do pretty much the same thing. It would just be more of like I would go to time, or I'd go to the numbers page and modeling like 1 + 2 equals on the device and showing how that works. Because some of them have built-in calculators and some don't. But yeah, showing them where the time is, time of day, measurement. I think there's some measurement tools in there depending on what math we're doing, shapes, colors. We already talked about kind of that stuff. But bringing all of that into there and just modeling, and kind of having an idea ahead of time of where you want to go and what you want to do. Again, not straying away too far from maybe 1 or 2 different types of words. If you're doing a descriptive word and an action word, stay there, right? Don't go too far. Don't say, oh, and now I want a place and I want you to comment and I want you to talk about a person, right? It gets a little confusing, right? Another lesson, we could totally do that. Let's talk about people and places. We can talk about who's and where's. Great. But try not to move too far away, especially if you are working with students who are really trying to learn their devices and learn the communication systems, which is a lot of the students that I've previously worked with. So I hope that really was helpful. Of course, if you're watching this afterwards and you have any questions, you are welcome to comment, whether you are in my Facebook group, on my YouTube channel, or on Instagram. All of that will be where you can access it and find it in future days. So like I said, first Wednesdays in the evenings is when I will be doing monthly lives. So I'd love to see you back. And if you have any topics, you are welcome to send me a message. And I will try to get those on the schedule as well if they are not already. But thank you so much for being here.